What are, for those keys, what are most of them? Is it that single hinge one or the double hinge or?
The single hinge and the double hinge accomplish the same thing.
Okay.
That round one, some Otis uses smaller scutcheon tubes, and the round one fits in those better.
Okay.
All the GAL scutcheon tubes, the one with the bar is probably the easiest because it's one piece and you can almost feel it drop.
Nice.
Okay. So what we see here is a perfect situation. So you can't get access to the passenger from the bottom floor that we were at. I mean you can, but it's a small window, and you're dealing with even less here with the door opening. Here's a good look at the door operator right here. So at this point, what we could do, everybody come in, or if you can see, let me put the car light on. Oh, get some light here. Here's the door operator I was talking about. Here's the shiv I was talking about. The belted shiv is the one that we're after. This is what controls the doors. Now I spoke to you guys about the clutch, the door restriction. So if this door is not in the door zone, the car door won't open. Typically there's a bar coming off of that clutch. We're going to lift that bar and it allows us to open the doors. At this point you can maintain communication with the passenger, let them know, hey, we're here. So at this point right here,
you definitely have to have someone down there making sure to tell them, hey, we're gonna open the door, but do not attempt to get out or anything like that.
right, you're just gonna have to calm them down and say,
Yeah.
we got you, we're here, we're gonna get
Okay.
you out. So if elevator personnel is nowhere to be found, and you're in a situation where you're right here, the passenger's right here, you're gonna get them out, right? You're isolated at the disconnect.
Isolated, yeah.
Just for good measure, hit a stop switch before you get in the car top. 99% of all cabs is going to have an escape hatch. That escape hatch is right here. In addition to the stop switch, all of the newer escape hatches all have a safety circuit on them, so that even if you didn't isolate the disconnect, which you will, but if you can't, once you open this escape hatch, you're isolated. The safety circuit's open, and the car can't run.
Frank, is there a way to tell that, say if they have a disconnect for elevator bank number 1 and bank number 2 labeled wrong, is there any way that we could tell up here at this point that the proper circuit is isolated?
That's kind of difficult. Other than what I told them downstairs when we had opened up that controller. If it's all labeled, the controller numbers are all labeled, I would take the lid off, open something up, and just make sure that you're seeing nothing on there. The modern ones are going to have solid state boards with LEDs, and if everything's dead, you're good to go. But some of the older stuff, relay logic stuff, you're not going to be able, there's no lights. So if you open a disconnect or a cabinet, you're not going to be able to tell.
So that disconnect is just the power for the motor. Obviously you got another circuit coming here for 110 for the lights and
The
everything.
110 light circuit is the only separate circuit. So that mainline disconnects all power for all systems. So the only other circuit that's live is just the lights. That's it.
Okay.
It's mandated by code to be separate. So with your escape hatch open, at this point, there's a panel. It's just a drop panel. It's probably not gonna be easy to get out. I got a jam. So that's gonna allow you access to the cab. It's a pretty decent size opening. I don't know if you carry attic ladders, if you go with an attic ladder to get them out.
Attic ladders.
Probably about the only size ladder you're gonna be able to get in there to get them out with. But this will at least give you access for you to get down in there. Roughly every cab is probably about 8 foot high. I don't know how tall your attic ladders are in length. You probably want something that's gonna be long enough to reach that 8 foot.
I was thinking 10 foot. 10 foot.
So Frank, is there, other than the isolation of the hydraulic, there's no
Yeah.
mechanical lock in place right now to keep this from moving, correct?
No.
Okay.
And there won't be. On a traction elevator, the machine has a machine brake. So with power off, the brake can't be released. But with anything mechanics fail, you could have a brake failure at some point. But if the brake fails on a traction elevator, it's gonna go up.
Right.
That's the biggest misconception. And like, we're gonna drop to our desk. Not unless there's 20 people in the elevator and you've overloaded the counterweight balance and you're going down.
So you're just trusting the brakes, because if you're working on the top of it and it goes up, obviously that's not a good thing. So you're
Right.
you're just trusting the braking
Then you're
system.
jumping in.
At some point, you gotta trust something. I mean, you guys
Right.
going blind all the time to stuff, you know,
Sure.
situations you're not really aware of. So,
And this would be a worst case scenario. I don't think there's a,
no, this is a worst case scenario. I'm just giving it to you is so you're not sitting there and helpless and not being able to do anything at all.
okay. So this would be like as if they're dying at that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of an assessment of it, the car tops and stuff. So if you want to roll everybody around here to kind of take a look at the
Please.
situation, I'll get out of the way and you guys can totally see what you see from the top.